Thanks to Joey Willow for 21 months as a channel member. Well, we are back for the final game of our first season in this head coach story as we have led FC Gifu to safety, and given the fact we joined them bottom of the league, I'm thrilled to say today's game is a battle for 13th. And after joining them at rock bottom in 20th place, I am delighted to say that today's final game is a battle for 13th place. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 5 of this FM24 Head Coach story with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Kitak Yushu on the final day of the Japanese J3 League season. I'm pretty sure these are the other club that offered me an interview in the summer. The name rings a bell for some reason, I don't know why. But either way, we are going to play this final game. It is the battle for 13th. We cannot finish below 14th, and that is an incredible effort from where we were. We're also 12 points clear of the relegation zone, and we've been in really good form in recent weeks. I know we've not won in our last two, but they were away at title contenders. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can keep our form up, and of course planning ahead for the summer, because our director of football, it looks like he's going to have to rebuild a squad here. So we're going to have a look at what we're going to be losing this summer, how much of the team I've been playing is going to be left, and then we'll compare it in the next episode to what our director of football's actually done. If you're looking forward to all of that, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. A quick reminder, if you are worried this save's going a bit too well, we were back with Southend earlier today in our one club story, and you can find a very different turn of events there. But let's go and crack on with FC Gifu and see what's been happening since you were last here, because we've played quite a lot of games off camera. We've been pretty good, by the way. So you were with me as we made it 4 wins from 5 against Fukushima and against Namazu. We then made it 4 wins in a row the 2 games after that. We won 2-0 at FC Osaka, Fujioka scoring both of the goals as the front two seemed to be increasing their understanding. But it didn't matter because Akita got injured in that game. He tore his hamstring. He's out for the season. He's also out of contract at the end of the year, so he's one of many that I may well be losing. We then managed to beat Nara by 3-2. It was a very interesting game. We were pegged back from 1-0 and 2-1, and in the 94th minute, we conceded an equaliser. We then went and scored from the kickoff. And Duca, the man who came in for the injured striker, the hero with the final kick of the game. Against Tiama, we lost 1-0 away from home. We can't be too worried about that. However, one of the contributing factors, possibly a glitch, but bizarrely, our goalkeeper on loan, who our director of football had signed in the window, he was recalled for us not playing him in his proper position. We were playing him in goal, and we were playing him as a goalkeeper, which is what was requested in the loan contract. But despite that, he was recalled, and since then, we've been letting in a few more goals. In this month, it has been goals galore at both ends. We drew 4-4 at home to a side near the bottom of the league. Charles and Duca got a brace, Kubota and Seko won a piece, but a 4-0 win against Sanuki made it comfortable. That is the day we officially secured survival. Kubota, Ugajin, Seko and Sumi, none of the strikers contributing on that one. Against Iwate away from home, a great result against one of the best teams in the league. We came back from 2-0 down at half-time. We were fantastic. We had Seko on the bench due to an injury. He came on and made a real impact in fairness to him, and both strikers got a goal there. Against another of the title contenders though last week, it wasn't quite so good. A 4-2 defeat, an injury to Sumi, but Kutsamoko came on up front and he scored. The advanced forward sort of project that we're working on, it's getting there. It's getting there slowly. He's now on to awkward. He was ineffective. So by the new season, maybe he'll be competent. If he stays at the club, which it looks like he will, I'll get playing him in pre-season and hopefully we're going to develop a brilliant striker. But the problem with that, as we'll see later in the episode, is that most of this team isn't going to be here because it's out of contract or the loans expire or they're going to be players moving on. So we'll worry about that in a little bit. The director of football is going to have a very big job to do. The other option, of course, is that we could jump ship. It's winter, and in Europe, teams will be panicking, jobs will become available. I'd really like to have a go for a full season here, though I may change my mind if it looks like we're not going to have a competitive squad. Because a reminder, next year, we are expected to be competing for promotion. And if we can't get automatic promotion, we don't want to risk a sacking on our CV. For now, though, let's go and enjoy the final game of the season. It's a mid-table battle. Hopefully they'll be on the beach and we'll be able to push on. Fingers crossed my voice will hold off as well, because that's going to need the off-season break. The real-life fixture between Nottingham Forest and Luton on Saturday, the comeback hurt my voice a little, let's be honest about that. Not complaining, but let's go and pick our team today. Seko and Sumi, two key midfielders, both unavailable. We're going to have to make decisions with this team. There's going to be a lot of goodbyes in there as well. So we'll be back in a minute to run through our 11. Right then, the squad is wearing a little thin on the ground now, and I'm also having to thin out the substitutes bench because we've got to the stage across both saves now where it is impossible not to have a sub goalkeeper. Across 4 saves, including my off-camera one, I've had 6 incidents of a goalkeeper injured during the match, and that is too many for me to now take a gamble in one season. Despite that, we have got an opportunity to continue our experiment today. Nothing riding on the game. The fact that Seko's out as well, it means we can do this. Otherwise, I would have bought in the homegrown player, but he's already agreed to leave, so there's no benefit to the club for that. That means Kusamoto will come in up front. He scored his first goal, now can he build on it? He is up there with Nduka, who has come back to fitness and is really improving. He's only 25, he's got potential. Maybe he can push on, but again, he's out of contract in 2 months. For now though, we've got Hayashi in goal, who is not any better than Juan, who was playing when we first got to the club, but he seems to be getting injured less in the middle of matches. Juan's already done that twice, so I'm sticking with Hayashi between the sticks. For Jitani and Ugajin the fullbacks, with Tanabe and Endo a centre-half. Park in centre midfield, he's made a real difference to this team, with Kita coming in alongside him. Kubota the youngster playing well off the right. Fujioka moves out to the left-hand side, and then Kusamoto in alongside Nduka. Fingers crossed the goals are going to flow from them. Let's go and get into our final game of the season, at home in a mid-table clash. Now let's hope we can do our best and not be on the beach with a game to spare. As we look at their side, it's a pretty decent one. Again, most of the sides in this league are pretty evenly matched. We don't look like one of the top sides on paper, but I'm hoping, with a lot of experienced players moving on relatively healthy wages, that maybe the director of football will do what it said in the headline features. Use the AI market more sensibly, make more balanced squad decisions, sign players that suit our tactic, and give us a team that can compete next year. Because to be fair, the goalkeeper he bought on loan, Tanabe, we've got the right back that he's pre-agreed to sign in the winter, and Park Hyun-jin, all very good signings. He's just got to pad it out a bit more. That's going to be the big question here, as Mikel gets it up to Hirayami. 7 minutes on the clock, and it's the visitors in possession. They've got the extra man in midfield, which might help them here. And I do fear after 2 defeats against top sides, or a draw and a defeat, sorry, we might go down with a whimper here as Kusamoto loses out. Wakaya's found. It's a good through ball. Hirayama's in. Great goal. Really good football from the visitors. Unfortunately, that's not the start we wanted. We're going to encourage the lads. The result doesn't matter, but it would be nice if we could avoid defeat. Well, corner kick for the visitors, and with 10 minutes to half time, I've got to be honest here. This is not a good game to be missing your best holding midfielder, is it? So on the edge of the box, they shoot for 2. We're being carved apart. Tactically, we can't cope with this tactic with the players we've got, but we've not got enough players fit to do it, and we've not got enough quality players left, so we're just going to see out the season. It looks like it's going to be a disappointing day. I'm going to tell the lads they're letting themselves down. Hopefully we get a reaction, but Seko's been our most prominent attacker, Sumi's been our best midfielder, and both of them are out, and it's showing. Kusamoto, in spite of his attributes, is not playing well up front because he's not adapted to the role yet. And I think at the hour mark, we might have to make some changes because we are getting overrun quite severely. Tada picks the ball up for Hirayama. Mikel gets it inside. It's good football. It's dominant football. I might even just chuck in a holding midfielder and see this out. Kubota nicks it though. Kusamoto. Nduka finds Fujioka. Come on, get us a goal back. Fujioka again. Park gets it up to Nduka. Forced backwards again, no. Without Sumi, without Seko, there's not that player that wants to look forward. Fujitani gets it on the right. Again, turns back to Kita. We're just playing in front of them. It's easy to defend. We've got to look for a special ball here. Kita gets it to Robota. That's better. Kubota in from the right. Chips over the top. Good run from Fujioka. He's in. Good effort. Tipped onto the woodwork. Really good football. That's much better. But I still feel we're going to have to change it tactically. 20 minutes to go. We're not showing signs of scoring. So let's try and be clever here. We are going to go for... I'm looking at the players who are tired as well. I'm going to chuck Hosono up front, I think, as the striker. I'm also going to go for a holding midfielder. Kubota will come on for Kubota. Nice one, that, isn't it? And we're going to bring on Kawakami for Park Hyun-jin. And I think what we're going to do is not actually anything drastic. I'm just going to put these guys back as holding midfielders. So Kita will stay as a deep line playmaker. We'll go for a support duty. And Kawakami will be a defensive midfielder. And we'll just try and work it like that. I'm going to allow Ugajin to fly forward, although it doesn't actually suit his game apparently. So we'll leave the rest as it is, but hopefully for now, we can at least get in behind. We've got a poacher on, so hopefully he'll stay between the width of the box and take any chances. I just want to try and deal with their biggest threat. And while we haven't got the best players available to do it, we might yet be able to find a solution. We have got some tired legs towards the end as well, so I'll make a couple more subs. Fujitani at right back is struggling, so Makuni will get a rare appearance with Tanabe going out to right back, and then Murata, you can come on for Fujioka, just so we can see out the rest of the season. His final appearance for the homegrown player at the club. 5 minutes to go. Stats actually have finished pretty even, as Ugajin puts in a corner, Endo's up, penalty kick surely. It's given. Who's the best taker on the pitch? It might be Ugajin, you know. I think it is. He's going to step up with 2 minutes to go and try and create a grandstand finish to left back. Puts it in the corner. Great penalty. Really good stuff. And now, with his 4th goal of the season, he's given us an opportunity. Let's go attacking. Let's encourage. We've got 3 minutes added on. But if anything, the way we're going, we might well concede another. They've sat on their 2-goal lead a bit, which has helped us, but maybe it's fatigue as well. As Keita nicks it for Hosono, and Nduka's through. This would be a great way to get a point. Charles Nduka, he scored! 92nd minute. I nearly took the chair off. Apologies for that noise. But Charles Nduka has done it. We've equalised in a 2nd minute of stoppage time. I'll give this team one thing. It's got some guts. It fought back right at the death there. And it's a 2-2 draw to finish the season. I couldn't be prouder of your effort to turn the game around. What a finish to the year. What a shame we're going to be losing half of this squad. We're going to get through now to the end of season review. We're going to have a look at what we've done since we've taken charge. And then we're going to go to the squad and see what we should be left with next year and what our director of football might add to it. Well, we return with our end of season messages. And if I'm being honest with you, this screen is petrifying. The updated squad planner, which looks really good by the way, shows how weak our squad's going to be next year. So let's start with that. We're planning for next season based on our first team. We've not got many players available, if I'm being completely honest with you. For next season, which it's just ticked over to, this is what we've now got. None of our senior goalkeepers are under contract next year. We've got a brilliant right back coming in. And of course, we've got that other right back who's being trained as a centre forward. But Adeyinka Najim is going to be a superstar. I cannot wait for him to join. As centre half, we have got one player joining who's not bad at all. Ken Motso, we saw was pre-agreed on deadline day in the summer, but doesn't join until the end of the year. But the two that are there at the moment are on loan and out of contract respectively. At left back, we've got no one as it stands. In midfield, we've got 3 players. Park Hyun-jin, who will stay involved. Sumi, who is a good player. And Kita, who isn't bad at all. Add to that, we've got young Rio Kubota on the right. Midfield's not as bad. We've got a first 11 at least. On the left wing, Fujioka's out of contract. Seko's leaving. Murata's leaving. We got nothing. Up front, the only player who is going to be staying that you've seen this year is Hosono, who is that poacher who came off the bench. But he's 35 and he's not in great shape physically. He's also wanted by other clubs, so might end up moving on anyway. So that is what we've got under contract at the minute. I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but seriously, look at our first 11 down to here. You've got the goalkeeper out of contract, and Nduka, Fujitani, Endo, Ugajin. They're all there. Fujioka as well. Most of them are wanted. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I'm not sure whether we're going to see new contracts offered later on. It does look like Fujioka's been offered one. So perhaps we're going to see some late deals, which you would expect in the lower leagues. But the fact that so many are wanted does give me some worries ahead of it. That's the problem we've got with our squad. The positives, though, as we mentioned and we looked at briefly, those 2 players coming in are going to be really good. But we've got loads going out, and they include the likes of Tomohiro Seko, who has been one of our best players this year. So there are going to be a lot of gaps in the squad and a lot of players to replace. But let's have a look at all the other end of season stuff and see what shape the club is in overall. The supporter profile update. More core fans, a slightly increased social media following. So we are possibly getting a few more fans to come in regularly, which is a good thing. We are playing some entertaining stuff at times, in fairness. The analyst report, it says we've got some weaknesses defensively. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But it does say Fujitani's doing well, who isn't rated that brilliantly. The club vision and expectations. This is where it's going to be important, because next season, the ambitions actually have changed very slightly, which is finishing a J3 League's top 4 places. Now, it doesn't really add up this, because I think you've got to be in the top 2 to get promoted, unless there's a playoff system I don't know about. But then a year after, it says you've got to attempt to remain in a J2 League. But if we don't get promoted, how will that be possible? It is just the top 2, isn't it? Yeah, nothing happens beyond that. So, a little bit surprising. I don't really understand how that works, but top 4 rather than top 2, I feel a little bit more confident, because based on our form since we've joined the club, we would have been in the top half, and we're going to have a better squad next season, I hope. The reason I wanted to show you this stuff at the end of the season is because I want to show how much those headline features have worked in FM24, because the AI transfer market is a really important part of this game, and we need to see if it works. And what better way than seeing how a director of football seemingly rebuilds a whole squad in 2 months. We've got the squad dynamics, which are looking all right. The managerial support is up to average. The dressing room atmosphere, I don't know why it isn't great, but most of them are moving on, so it won't matter. We've got some important personal news on the way as well. We're going to accept the current vision. We'll do the team meeting off camera. We've got the new season report, which we'll look at in a moment. The squad end of season break is now off for 6 weeks, and the weekly staff meeting, we don't need to worry about this time. But if it doesn't work out at FC Gifu, which will be largely dependent on how our director of football performs this winter, there is some good news to come out of our time at the club. Because we've been doing pretty well and progressing, and we've met all of our objectives, the board have allowed us to go on a coaching course. So now we are going to get our first coaching badge while we're in charge here. Even if we get sacked next year, we'll get a payoff. And we've got a chance to really push on with a good club. If we can get a good team in, which, to be fair, if we get Fujioka tied down to a new deal, we've got 2 good defenders coming in, we are starting to build one a little bit. This director of football could give me a real platform to push on. I found it quite interesting out of curiosity. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, we played 21 games. We almost had an identical record there. But most importantly, goals for and against, exactly the same. Both almost 2 goals a game. I'm giving you entertainment here this year. But that is the position we're in at the minute. And basically, our summer is going to boil down to this. Do 2 or 3 of them get new deals? Do they stay? Do they move to other options? Because a lot are going to get end of contract offers. And with the holes that are going to be left in the squad, which will be significant, can the director of football find good players? And ideally, players on permanent contracts, so we don't have the situation we had in the summer with the goalkeeper. That's going to be the big question. If you've been doing a director of football challenge or a head coach save, let me know how your director of football's performed. Don't forget R1's actually got pretty good attributes, and he has offered most of the coaching team a new deal. Let's go and find him very quickly as a reminder. There he is, 8 for judging ability and potential, determined, decent negotiator, and adaptable too. I'm hoping he's going to provide some quality. If you enjoyed our first season though, a trip to Japan, and of course that brilliant fight back at the end of the last game, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. If you want to stay up to date and find out how this summer goes, and what on earth our director of football is going to do with this squad, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't both excited and nervous in equal measure going into this winter. But fingers crossed he's going to deliver, and he's going to give me a squad that can compete next year. We'll find out the answer to that at the same time tomorrow as we come back for the first day of the season and a big transfer special here. In the meantime though, we've got a more turbulent affair in our one club story at Southend. You can find that playlist so far up in the eye above. It will be back tomorrow at 11:30 as well. There's also links to the Twitch channel where we're live every evening, including today, so come and say hello from 7:30 onwards. And there's a link too to the football podcast where we have Championship and Premier League predictions every match day. You can come and get involved in the comments there too. But thank you very much for watching as always. The link to order FM24 is in the description if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you back here at the same time tomorrow as we head into our first full season. Director of Football, Hiroki Izumi, my fate is in your hands.